Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to a Flex's View, man. Just me and you lot. Friday morning. Happy Friday. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Short, sharp, to the point. Mr. Fabrizio has been talking. Yes, there's been a few transfer updates surrounding Joao Gomez. Now, this is not the first time we've heard about Joao Gomez. It's not the first time we've heard of the interest of Man United in Joao Gomez. And Fabrizio Romano has said that Joao Gomez is keen to join Manchester United. He would like to come to Man United, but he is not a priority. He is an opportunity. And Man United will sign main targets in the midfield position in 2026. Now, that could be in January, or, of course, it could be the big ones in the summer. Now, we know all about Elliot Anderson and Baleba and Wharton, and I call them the big three. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're a big rap fan, you know it's all about top fives, top threes. Well, actually, if you're a fan of anything, could be NBA, could be whatever the thing is. But we all appreciate what top three is. And I feel like Wharton, Anderson, and Baleba are that. They're the top three, right? But then we got these like opportunistic signings. And if we have an opportunity to do that in January, it looks like we will. The noises that we're hearing. This is what Fabrizio had to say. He said, Man United will target a midfielder in 2026. It could be two between January and the summer. So we could get one in January and then the big one in the summer. Who knows? We could probably get two in the summer, maybe none in January. Maybe get two in January. Very unlikely. But across the two windows, basically, he's saying that we're going to get our targets. Joao Gomez is one of the names on the list. He is not a priority, but he is liked. Joao Gomez is very keen on joining Man United, even without European football. No disrespect to Wolves, but of course he would be. Of course he would be. Of course he's going to want to come Man United. And a lot of players, look, I know maybe not the top draw players across Europe, but some of the better players though would still want to come to us without any Europe. Look at Cunha, look at Mbuma. They made their minds up. Look at Sesko. This window just tells us that. They all could have gone to places other than Man United, better teams than Man United, with a better setup, better coach, better set of results leading into this, better squads. But they chose to come here. But it all depends on Wolves if they want to sell the player or not, which obviously you you would imagine it does depend on the selling club. I think what we're seeing here is a player that essentially we know wants to come here. So there's not going to be any problems in terms of if he wants to come here in this window. I think if we put in a sufficient bid, whether he agitates for the move or not, I think he would want to come. And again, my thing is, we need to remember the order of ceremonies and remember that we might not quite get it the way round that we want things. Okay, now that's not an excuse. It's just a reality of the situation. Let's be real. We ain't getting Elliot Anderson in January. It just ain't going to happen. And I think a lot of people are more receptive to that and understanding of that now. We're not going to get our main targets. It says it already there. And Fabrizio reinforces it, and it's what we've kind of known over the last few weeks to a month or so, is that he's not the main one on the list. Same with Conor Gallagher. In fact, Fabrizio had a little bit to say about Conor Gallagher actually, and he said that Conor Gallagher is considered an opportunity and is not part of Man United's main midfield targets. Also, he adds that Atletico Madrid are not open to a loan at this time. So it looks like the Conor Gallagher thing, in terms of like what we would be on, in my opinion, which is get him on loan, get him on loan. I mean, help us out to the end of the season. We'll look at it then. Atletico Madrid are not on that, according to Fabrizio Romano. And then you have to look at what it says about he's not a main target. Again, when we tried to get him back end of the summer, it was more of a stocking filler. Maybe Kobbie Mainoo would have got his move had we have got Conor Gallagher. So that little daisy chain didn't occur. So I don't mind that that's happened, because we couldn't get him. It has left us short. We knew what was going to be like going into midfield. It's just glaringly obvious what's wrong with our team. It's been glaringly obvious, one of the biggest problem positions in our team even last year. It's been a problem for the longest while. So the surgery is coming, guys. Yeah? Whether it's surgical summer or surgical winter, the surgery is coming. You know what I'm saying? We might just be getting stocking fillers. You know, you get a little stocking fillers at Christmas with just little odd bods in there, little bits, little sweets, or little flipping when you were younger, little figurines, or just little things, and then you get the big boy stuff on Christmas Day, or in our case, January slash probably the summer. So I don't mind. I don't mind. I like Joao Gomez. Like I said, I think he's a neat little player. If he was part of the bigger rebuild, which he would be, if we did get him, I wouldn't worry that, oh my God, we're getting this guy from Wolves. He's been relegated. Well, not quite relegated yet, but he's been playing towards the bottom of the table since he's been here. This, that, and the other. What are we doing? We're not serious. Order of ceremonies, guys. I keep referring back to Arsenal's window in the summer. There was outrage. They were outraged with their order of ceremonies. And I'm not comparing the two squads. I'm comparing the principles. Arsenal fans were fuming when they got Nona Madueke, you know, writing petitions, signing petitions. And when they got Kepa and Norgard, they were like, I think they were the first three they did. I think Kepa, Norgard, and Madueke were the first three signings. There was no Gyökeres. There was no Eze. You know, these types of signings. Obviously, Mosquera came in later. Hincapié came in later. Those types of signings weren't done yet. So it was like, where's our striker? We need Eze. Why are we not there for Rodrigo? Where's Gyökeres? You know what I'm saying? Where's this? Where's that? Why are we Madueke for 50 million? What is this crap? It was all of that. And then later on to the window, look at let it all work out. Stealing Eze from Spurs. Look at Gyökeres. You know what I mean? Look at Hincapié. Look at Mosquera, who's playing games now. So my point is that you know what's on the menu as fans. We know what's there. We know what we need. But in terms of the order we get it, sometimes we get angry. Where the truth is, we have to judge these things when the window is closed and complete, which is hard because you're seeing the team suffer week in, week out. You're seeing square pegs in round holes week in, week out. And we want to fix it now. I want it fixed immediately. And if we're serious, we make it a priority and we do everything we can to get the right guys. But I do still understand that it ain't EAFC, it ain't Football Manager, it ain't Championship Manager. If you know about Championship Manager, big up to you, old school. Yeah, it ain't them games. It's not them games. You can't just go and get these guys and pluck them out of thin air. You can't. It's just not how it works. Especially when you take our position into consideration. And when I say position, I don't really necessarily only mean league position. I mean our position financially. I mean our position with the squad, our position with wages. We're looking to have the big overhaul. Spoke about it yesterday morning. This big ruthless overhaul that needs to happen. We ain't going to be able to do it if we hold on to players and we're not ruthless in saying, see you later, thank you for your services. Not good enough. So you can forget Elliot Anderson and flipping being in the mix for Adam Wharton or Baleba or the next big thing, you know, wing back and trying to get Semenyo release clause, putting him, all these fantasies that we have in our head. Forget about them. If we don't fix up and get ruthless with the guys who ain't good enough or the guys who ain't going to be enough value for money. Okay? There's no time for sentiment. So, listen, I like Joao Gomez. Hopefully we can pick him up in the winter and help bolster us and then go and get Elliot Anderson plus more in the summer. Because for me, like I say, prime number one target is Elliot Anderson. I ain't having it any other way. Shout out to James. He said missing out on Declan Rice, 3 years ago was one of our biggest mistakes. You know, we tried to get Bellingham, we tried to get Haaland, we tried to get big players in the past. Tried to get Caicedo and messed it up under Oli when he was only like 4 million. Then couldn't really enter the chat when he was 100 and something million. So we can't drop the bag with Elliot Anderson this time in terms of like a proper thoroughbred central midfielder that's going to help us along our way. You know what I mean? Speaking of central midfielders as well, Christian Orzco, the young Colombian, 17 years of age, he's going to be in Manchester to finalise his deal to the club in the coming days. One for the future. We can't get too excited. Of course, we can't even get him actively, properly until he's 18, which is in July. So I think it's going to be just some formalities, come and sign his paperwork, officially sign for the club. But in terms of him actually playing or being part of anything, it's very similar to when we've got Sekou Kone and stuff like that. These guys are young, they're for the future. We shouldn't be looking at them now to be like, oh my God, we got this guy. Now he is this kid, he is very highly spoken about. I got a Colombian friend actually, runs a lot of restaurants, but he's also very well connected in the Colombian football space with the players and the Colombian Football Federation, or whoever their federation is. I think it's the Colombian Football Federation, but with a lot of agents as well. Talks to me a lot about anyone Colombian and South American in general, but definitely the Colombians. And he speaks very highly about this kid. I'm going to do a bit more digging and a bit more, but you know, any of the I think obviously Diego Leon's from Paraguay, but he knows him. He had Moises Caicedo when he first come to the country at Brighton, you know, living in the digs with him. So he's a very well-connected guy. So I'm going to do a little bit of digging on Orzco, find out a little bit more about him. I've heard a little bit about him, but let's wait and see. But there's a new one through the door coming. We're planning for the future. We are, but we are also need to be planning for now. So that's Christian Orzco on the way in, and Joao Gomez is keen on joining Man United. Of course he would be. Why wouldn't he be? Duh. But listen, it's all about planning. I'm going to keep calm. As long as I see us address the situations that need addressing, then we can do it. What we are being told clearly is that he's not on the main list. If he's not on the main list, then, you know, how interested are they? But if he's seen as an opportunity, then let's go get him. Let's go get him. Shout out to James from the Muppeteers. You always know James has got his little inside scoops. He's got his sources at the club. That's for sure. He's not capping. I know that. I'll tell you that for free. James says, as revealed over a month ago, United have watched for some time in terms of Joao Gomez and have viewed with strong potential to be a January opportunity. In addition to main midfielders not available till summer. Discussions have taken place with representatives. Wolves' position facing relegation. So again, James goes kind of one further and says that discussions have taken place with his representatives. So this could be something that really picks up as soon as the window's open. It could really go fast. It would be a much needed addition. It will bring a much needed freshness to the midfield. Obviously he's Brazilian. He can get about the pitch. And you know what? I know comps are a bit misleading, but we do see Joao Gomez if you follow your Premier League football every week at Wolves. And, you know, we'll watch a few comps on him. You know, because we watch Wolves every week, or keep an eye, not 90 minutes every week, but I certainly do anyway, in terms of their highlights, seeing how they've been performing. Not 90 minutes, but in terms of watching them every week to get a feel of it. And, you know, when Wolves have had some of their better performances, Joao Gomez, he's been at it, man. He's a nasty little player. Like, not, and I say nasty, like, he gets about the pitch. He can win tackles. He can dispossess people. He's got quick feet. He's scored a couple of goals. He's a decent little player, man. I do like him. He's better than Ugarte for sure. Casemiro, obviously different type of profile, but can get about the pitch way better than Casemiro. Obviously, I'm not going to say better than him in terms of, you know, in the air, leadership, understanding of the game, all of that. But in terms of what we're trying to do, he'll be way better suited to the role than Casemiro, that's for sure. So I'd happily take Joao Gomez in preparation for the big boys in the summer. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Joao Gomez in January looks like it's hotting up. An opportunity for Manchester United to bolster in midfield, because we are dying in there. We are hanging on. Honestly, we are hanging on. Let me know what you guys are saying about that. And Christian Orzco, the 17-year-old Colombian wonder kid, is on his way to Manchester United. Let me know. Smash a like on the video, people. I'm out of it. Peace.